Welcome back to the Wings versus Rings podcast, Super Bowl reaction episode. Not going to be the greatest of reactions here today because we were wrong and we were heartbroken, some of us at least. I'm Dylan, repping for Philadelphia. Got some strong opinions to throw your way. It's my boy Seth. We're going to get right into it with some Super Bowl reactions. All right, so
Eesh.
I know. You need a second? You need like a moment of
Nah, I got.
silence?
I had a week. We had a week. I mourned.
All right, so I'm going to just start it by who do you blame most for the Seahawks 29-13 victory in Super Bowl 60? Or actually,
He
yeah,
doesn't.
the Pats. You know what I mean?
He, he doesn't deserve the amount of disrespect that this is gonna come off as. But I honestly, looking back at some of the breakdowns and just how things went, I think Drake May was very just a huge negative. Um, there was a lot of things on the field that he left out there. Unfortunately, I know his own lineman couldn't hold up for nothing, but it wasn't like his receivers weren't open instantly. Like we didn't have the all 22 perspective or anything like that, right? Like we were just watching on the TV. We can only see with like the line of scrimmage essentially. But there
Broadcasts.
was a
Yeah.
lot of plays out there. There was a lot of plays that he just didn't make. And then you hear these Seahawks defenders come out and be like, yeah, he just didn't trust his eyes. He did what all young quarterbacks do. He sees it, confirms that it's open instead of just believing his eyes when he first sees it. And it's like Will Campbell played awful, but I think he was playing playing on a torn MCL. I thought he was pretty good all season. I'm not out on him. Jared Wilson, I was complaining the whole time you were there. I thought he was like the bigger issue of the two. But and seeing everything in retrospect and having a week, it's like, all right, Drake May was 23 years old. Historically, quarterbacks this young don't ever play this good. Ever play good. He played awful. Like, doesn't matter how bad the line was. Like Joe Burrow produced. You know what I mean? Like, I think it is just an age and experience thing. It's just he left a lot. He left too much out there in a game that was 9-0 at half and 6-0, 3-0. It was just a field goal fest.
Yeah,
And then he had that pivotal
I
turnover.
agree.
That was like the nail in the coffin. The first one. The other two, I don't blame him for because he was chasing. Like at that point, like I'd rather go out on our shield.
The
Like
first
I'd
one
rather,
was the fumble, or
yeah, the
okay,
way he got punched out while scrambling.
okay.
And it's like all the other ones. While the pick was pretty bad, I can forgive because we're big game hunting. We're down 19 points, fourth quarter. I'd rather go out with four turnovers than one and just three and out everything. Like that's how I feel about those. That first one is 12-0. He gets it punched out. Nail in the coffin essentially. Like that was egregious. He's got to fix that problem. Like above else, everything else, he's got to fix that problem. And he's young. He's gonna be great. He's gonna be a Hall of Fame quarterback. I believe in him. I don't even. My biggest fear that you'll get this throughout the whole podcast. I'll just state it now is that this will be the peak of the variable May era. That is my fear because this might be the worst team we have for the next 5 years. This might be the farthest we go, and that's like my. That's the thing
I
that's
do kind
weighing
of
on my
want to
mind, not the loss.
elaborate a little bit on that because I do think that's a fair point. So, the elaboration that I would give is you make a very, very valid and most likely true point that this will be the worst team or roster, at least, if you will, on paper. It's because you guys have a lot of money, and of course, we're gonna hope that you hit on some draft picks. So between free agency and the draft, you would think that you'd add a lot of pieces that would help contribute to another championship run. So that is a very valid and truthful point. That said, the other part of it is that the field, being the AFC, is a lot stronger, I'd say, than what is out there on the NFC side. And
Mm.
that really matters, especially when you think of, I mean, he's coming off of an ACL tear, but you got Mahomes, currently the most, tenured or decorated quarterback in the NFL, uh, if you will. And he's just one of many. Bo Nix, you guys had to go through him this year. I think he had a really great performance in one of those playoff games. You got Josh Allen, who was on the other side of it. You got, I mean, I don't know. I'm naming a few of the good quarterbacks, but it's not even just good quarterbacks. So you know this best. All Pats fans do right now. You guys had to go through a gauntlet of defenses, which ultimately led to Drake May's injury, which I'm not going to fully, discredit anything else. Not going to discredit Seattle's defensive performance. Not going to blame it all on an injury, but it definitely weighs into that poor performance in a Super Bowl game. And when you got to go through a gauntlet, like, you can get injured against a bad defense too. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot in the AFC that you got to go against. This year for you guys, it was all defenses really that you needed to get through. Next season, it could be all the quarterbacks you got to get through. What if it's Joe Burrow and Lamar and Josh and there's a lot of good ones over there. So it's a very good point. I just wanted to add that to what you're saying because it's a fair point.
To be honest, the injury thing, like, it's bound to happen when you take that many sacks. It it's an offensive line issue, but it's a Drake May issue too. It's he had what is it? He got sacked 5 times, 7 times this season. Like he had a game with 5 plus sacks 7 times. I've
Holy,
been seeing stats and statistics that Peyton Manning had 6 his entire career. Tom Brady had 13 his entire career. Drew Brees had less than 7 his entire career. Dan Marino had 2 his entire career. You know what I mean? Like,
well, Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl.
yeah, he went to one in his second year. You know, that's what you're going to see a lot of in comparison to Drake May. But like, he's got to protect himself because like he's a big guy. He's a strong quarterback. Like I love watching him play. I mean, he just can't be sacked that much. You're not gonna survive in the NFL. You know, look at Andrew Luck. Like that's who comes to my mind a lot of the time when I see this. I don't want to say RG3 because it wasn't like necessarily a sack issue, but I just don't want my young quarterback to be injury prone because he can't throw the ball away. Like he tries to do too much. He tries to be Superman out there, and you know a lot of time he is, but we don't always need that.
I'm very impressed. When you look at the season as a whole, it was kind of an over
Oh, of course.
accomplished year for Drake May and for the Patriots in general. Kind of what we were saying, this could be the worst roster that you guys have, and you made it to a Super Bowl, so it could get a lot better. And for my sake, I don't want that because you've already had domination on the league. But for your sake, man, I mean, it would be incredible to hit that to hit on a quarterback like that 2 times in not that far apart. Very far apart in the draft compensation. But
Not
all right,
far
so while
apart,
we were
man.
talking about the injury, I kind of do want to. We're already talking about blame and the injury, so let's get down to it. I got a little blame pie. I'm giving my percents, and I'm gonna have you tell me where I'm wrong. I'll start out with the biggest percent. I'll put a 50% of this on Vrabel and McDaniel. Thought it was a really poorly coached game, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. Thought the play calling was, and you said now that you saw all 22, so I expect you to probably argue this a little bit, and that's fine. But from my perspective in the game, it just felt awful. It just didn't feel like they ever wanted to get him, didn't feel like they ever wanted to get him in rhythm and get him flowing and just get the ball out of his hands quickly. No screen passes to set up things downfield, or it wasn't running to throw the ball. It was just it didn't feel like an actual game plan. It almost felt like they were calling a play to call a play. It was it just felt really poor, specifically in that first half when you guys could get nothing going. Obviously, it opens up a little bit in the second half. Maybe like you said, you saw all 22. Maybe that was just Drake May's willingness to throw it at that point because the game was getting out of reach. Which brings me to my next biggest percentage. I'm putting 25% on Drake May. I thought it was whether you want to put he's gonna actually get a bigger part of this. I'll continue. So 25% on Drake May, 12.5% goes to the offensive line, and the other 12.5% to Drake May's shoulder. So
That's like,
Drake got a little bit more than 25% if you want to do the math on
yeah,
it. But
37 and a half. Lord. Uh, okay. I don't. The coaches, I do have a problem with like how the game unfolded, but like there was a lot of stuff that was open. Like Josh McDaniels wasn't calling like the greatest game plan. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't a bad game plan though. There was gaps. There was plays to be made every down. I'm not expecting him to like be a robot and automatic. But when Stephon Diggs just has a free release, just a quick slant, and Drake May just can't get him the ball because he's you know dancing back there and scrambling way too early, and that's a problem. And I'll give it the offensive line to a major like genuinely like I don't blame Drake for being shell shocked with how the year had gone, how that playoffs had gone, how that game had gone. I don't blame him for like feeling that young quarterback. You got 2 seconds to throw it. Like it's very bad. It's very bad. But I thought Vrabel did a good job in terms of like how the defense went and how like the game management went. Like it was 9-0 going into the half. Like
right. Can I?
to be in that situation. Uh, and I like the way the defense played. I feel like Sam Darnold actually like didn't have a great game overall, but he made 2 plays in the first half. Breaking both those sacks led to field goals.
So okay, all right.
Like,
I'm gonna cut in right here only because you mentioned what I wanted to say, but kind of being the inverse. I'm hearing so much that Sam Darnold broke the sacks. Don't get me
mm,
wrong. There's two things can be true, but I'm a little bit frustrated that those weren't sacks. I'm a
of
lot of bit
course,
frustrated. You get your arms around him. He needs to go down. He was dead to rights. And yes, I'm
yeah.
not saying he doesn't deserve any of the credit, but that part to me was poor coaching because I feel like your guy should be prepared to be in that situation and to make that tackle.
I I I just don't agree with that because
You can
and
only do
normally
so
I
much
would,
as a
but we're a top
coach.
no,
So I
but we
will
were a
say that.
top 3
But
tackling team this year in the NFL. We were the top 3. We were the best tackling team in the playoffs. That I don't think Vrabel just lost his curveball. I think the moment was just too big for some of those guys.
wasn't necessarily he lost his curveball, and maybe that's why I said argue it, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, coaches don't play
I'm
on
definitely
Sunday all
willing
the time.
to. Yeah, Vrabel can't go out there and make the tackle for him, so that's why I'm saying I'm open
He would
to.
have.
Excuse me. That's why I'm open to the arguments or to to switch these numbers up. But the reason I said that is just because tackling as a whole on a defense, maybe not, but I did feel as if your D line was not prepared to bring Sam down.
Yeah. Well, Hawkins had that big missed sack. I feel like Milton was getting sidestepped a lot. Like I'll give it more to Sam Darnold, like being more athletic than even I feel like he is, to be honest, for a lot of those plays. And I'll say I feel like it was just a little too big for our team in general. Like the spot was just a little too big, and it sucks to say, but I don't know if I put that on Vrabel necessarily because I mean, be the best tackling team in the playoffs. Like that doesn't just go away.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
And being the top 3 tackling team during the regular season, like he coaches the fundamentals. Like I'm a, so my problem isn't with Vrabel at all. I actually thought he was amazing. I thought Josh McDaniels had there were some problems to be had. I wish we would have did more in the screen game. Like I completely agree with that. Uh, but maybe they were just weren't giving us the looks for it. Ultimately, like if we're just like calling a screenplay, just to call a screenplay, and it's an awful front or an awful look. It's like okay, maybe we don't do that. But overall, there's a lot of good plays to be made. I'd give the most amount of blame to Drake, and it sucks. He's such a young quarterback, but it's a quarterback-driven league. I'd go Drake, offensive line, coaching staff, and then tackling. And some percentage, I'll go 40 Drake, 20 offensive line,
It's 80. 60. Sorry.
60, 20 coaching, 20 tackling.
All right.
Actually, it was like completely fine with our coaching, and I like the fact that we were gonna like retain Zach Kerr as the defensive coordinator, and we're just gonna just demote I'm spacing his name right now, Williams, something like that. I hate that I'm spacing it because he's been fighting cancer this whole season and all this stuff, and like I don't know why I'm spacing it right now, so I apologize, but like
It's okay.
he's gonna remain on the staff. He's gonna remain on the staff.
I'm gonna get us into the next part of the topic. I do want to say that it is very easy for us in these situations on the end when the game is going to involve one of our favorite teams in this situation, the Pats, or hopefully next year the Eagles. Not in a loss though. I've already done that. It's very easy for us to focus on the losers side of it. I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean we probably need to throw some flowers the way of the Seattle Seahawks. They played a great game, had a fantastic season, and walk away as Super Bowl champions, and that shouldn't go understated. So I did want to give a little flowers there. I'm gonna start it off with saying while Kenneth Walker, impending free agent, was fantastic the entire run, and we talked about that before the Super Bowl, and he had I would say a pretty good Super Bowl. I think maybe others will say great. I didn't necessarily feel that way. I felt like he was pretty contained from the majority of the game, but he had the splash plays, some back breaking plays, and I do think he was great in that aspect. That said, I don't know if he should have been that Super Bowl MVP.
Everything I'm gonna say, everything maybe we both are gonna say, because that's the kind of the way I was leaning. Might just be considered like a backhanded compliment, but I really do feel like on a down and out basis, we were stuffing the run. It's just he did have the 2 or 3 back breaking plays that legitimately led to field goals. Like that was the difference. It was a 9-0 ball game because of 2 runs he had. They came off of the play that Sam Darnold had broken the sack. So it's like I don't want to be the guys like those 2 things go differently. Of course, so many things could have gone differently. The first play Sam Darnold threw the game was inches away from me to pick six. Like, there's so many things that could have went differently. I think about that moment all the time. In my head, that's all that runs through my mind. But um, he made the plays. He did make the plays. I don't want to take anything away from him, but a lot of this stuff is going to sound like a backhanded compliment. At least for me, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but he had a good game because he made one or two plays. Just like Sam Darnold had an okay game because he made one or two plays. Overall, I feel like these guys weren't like very impactful down to down.
I think their defense was the bigger part
That's
of
the
that. Yeah.
superstar. Yeah, their
Which is why
defense
I
was the
said what I
star.
said about the Super Bowl MVP thing. I know it's kind
What do
of
you think
like,
should have happened?
well,
Out of curiosity.
technically I'm between three things. Number one, the kicker Jason Myers, because wholly automatic. But I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say Love had an insane game, but I thought Ernest Jones was really good. He didn't have a turnover to his name, so I think it might have gone to whoever scored the touchdown. I believe it was
Wilson.
yes. So I thought maybe I don't know how to say his first name. I don't want to disappoint. I guess that was ruled an interception. I forgot about that.
No
Um,
shot. That was ruled an interception.
the Nwosu play, yeah, they changed the calling. It wasn't a fumble.
How?
They ruled it an interception for a touchdown.
But it hit the ground.
No, they had two interceptions on the game. They ruled it an interception. I didn't go watch it. I
Did
didn't
not
go
hit the
watch it,
ground.
but I know for a fact that they ruled it a pick six.
What? It didn't hit the ground.
So that said, I probably would say him or Witherspoon. I thought was fantastic blitzing the quarterback as a you know as a slot. He was
Yeah.
as a DB,
Made a lot
so
of plays.
maybe him. But
He
there
made the
was it.
tackles in our
I just
spots
feel like
too.
someone on the defense deserved it more, especially I don't know. 27 attempts, 135 yards. Again, it sounds disrespectful because he was he was getting a lot of touches and he was doing his job with those touches. He also had two catches for 26 yards. So it's like he was efficient. He got the job done. Did a great job. He was honestly more impressive in the other playoff victories than the Super Bowl. He was rewarded. Maybe it was almost like for his run, but I think it's the Super Bowl MVP for a reason. And I think the Super Bowl MVP was that defense. It's got to go to somebody. That's my opinion.
Uh, Mike McDonald. No, they like it was.
Can you give it to a coach? That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy. They played well. I feel like the greatest player on the field ultimately was Gonzo again. Another backhanded compliment,
No,
but like I'd
I
probably
don't
say the
fully
next
disagree.
12 people might be Seahawks. So it's like it was an awful game to watch because my team lost, but I'm hoping this Mike Vrabel to end. This is just a start. Keep your head up. This is the start of a just the foundation of this organization. Like this is our hopefully our just starting point, right? I don't want to be so optimistic because I feel like I'll get hurt more ultimately, but I gotta be optimistic or else this just hurts way more in the present. I gotta be okay with like this being. I have to be okay with this loss because I'm thinking we'll get it on the back end.
Hey,
We'll get a couple on the back end.
we got stats. We can.
Ugh,
I don't actually have it written down, but I'll go with.
I hate
I'll
those
go with.
stats.
I'll go with. It's very, very uncommon. I'm pretty sure it's actually only been done 4 times in NFL history that a quarterback loses their first Super Bowl and returns to win one. Obviously, I gotta add this part. Jalen Hurts is one of the few.
Most
But
recent
that
do that
said,
to a long time.
that's true. That said, Drake May's more talented than Jalen Hurts. More talented. It's the best I could give you.
For right now, yeah.
He's 23 years
But
old.
yeah.
He's got a lot of football left to play. That team's got a lot of football left to play. The only thing that really bothers me about this loss is the clip of Barmore talking to Milton. I don't know if you've seen
Being
it.
like we
I'm
had it.
assuming
Yeah.
it's
We
not our
had it.
fault. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. Just repeating it. And you know what he
Um,
was insinuating. So it was just that's uncomfortable to me. That's about the only thing that really irks me about not irks is the wrong word, but concerns me going forward.
I don't think I did see the clip. I saw him being like, "We had it. We had it. That was ours. That was ours, twin. That was ours."
No,
And then
he
Milton's like, "We'll
was
be all right. We'll be up back. We'll be back." He's like, "That was ours, man."
I mean, maybe I saw an altered version of that clip, but it was
No,
definitely
no,
that
I'm not saying it didn't
interaction.
happen.
It was definitely that interaction. That's exactly what Milton said in return to him. But he was definitely saying it's not our fault, like as the defense in the clip that I saw at least. So that's a little uncomfortable, but it's not untrue. You know what I mean? So it's like accountability is a real thing, but to hear that on the sideline in the Super Bowl, like it could be a bit of a chemistry issue. that I'd be a little bit concerned about. And of course, I'm going to notice stuff like this because I'm a Philly fan and we read books on the sideline of football games. So I'm just a little more attentive to things like that, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I will say this. I agree. I mean, thankfully they don't play the same side of the ball. If this is like that's how he meant it, he could ultimately meant it like it wasn't us. It wasn't us. Like we didn't win as a team. Not it wasn't the defense's fault. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I'm just being too optimistic here, but you do understand what I mean? It's like it wasn't us. Like we didn't win. It wasn't us today.
no, he was saying
Situation.
it
Not
wasn't
that
our
it
fault.
wasn't. Damn.
He said the words "fault." I'm pretty sure, but either way, optimism for that is fine. I mean, it's also a fair criticism and a fair reason to feel that way. I mean, they held them in check. They didn't. They were bend don't break for a couple drives, but mostly they didn't even bend. I was very impressed with how your defense showed out. Thought they did a good job. Maybe not a great job. Again, kind of like I said about Kenneth. It's a vague way to put it, but it feels accurate.
Like our soul was snatched. Yeah,
I
kind
feel
of
like the
right at that
defense
point.
did their job. I mean, 17 of the 29 points were scored in the fourth quarter,
Yeah, and
and they were on the
seven
field
of
all
them
night.
obviously weren't their. Yeah, seven of them wasn't their fault, and then
True,
on top of
that's
that, I feel
true.
like when that did happen, I mean, I said it during the game to you. I was like, our souls had just been snatched. Like, unfortunately, like that just took whatever we had, whatever juice we had left, whatever belief we had left. Like that play just took it, and it was just like, all right, run the ball, kill the clock, let's get out of here. Like it's over.
So
I
there's
hate
like
that. I hate that there was some quit on the field. I hate that, but
it's rough though. I mean, that
they snatched our chain. They took our soul, bro. Like props to them. I don't like it, but
at least it wasn't 34-0 in the Super Bowl at one point. There's bright sides.
yeah. Also, that stat. I'm curious about that stat because I see a lot of second year quarterbacks or people that play in their second year don't make it back, or quarterbacks usually lose their first. Like, I'm curious who that is. You know, like, because I wonder how early it happens. It happened early for Jalen Hurts, and he came back, right? It was like, okay, it happened early for Joe Burrow. I think we all think Joe Burrow at some point is probably going to be in the Super Bowl again, or at least in contention for one, right? But like, I wonder who they're talking about. Like, are they talking about uh like one of like a Bengals quarterback from whoever they were from like the 90s or 80s? Are they talking about like that? Are they talking about just these journeyman quarterbacks or like a Colin Kaepernick? Are they talking about players like that, or are they talking about players like Dan Marino's caliber? Like how many Dan Marinos did that happen to? You know what I mean? Or how many Colin Kaepernicks did that happen to? I would like to see like the split.
Yeah, that's it's a fair point. I
'Cause
mean,
I feel like Drake's in
I
the
know
other
that
category.
I know other people that are in that category are like Cam Newton, Matt Ryan,
Mm,
Donovan McNabb.
mm.
Like there are some
Okay, the
pretty
first
good
one hurt.
ones.
The other ones were like, all right.
All right,
Donovan McNabb's
this
pretty good.
disrespectful, I guess, but
Well, I mean,
Jared
Cam
Goff,
Newton,
I suppose, would be in that conversation as
the
well.
golf ball.
Yeah, nah. Hasselback, Jake Delhomme,
A lot of these guys went against the Patriots though.
Steve McNair,
They went against the dynasty. I know Steve. Oh yeah, they went against the Rams, huh?
and then Drew Bledsoe would count as well, I believe.
Yeah, we lost to the Packers.
Jim Kelly
But huh.
and Fran Tarkenton. That's like all I got off the top of my head. I
Yeah,
couldn't
so
give
that
you any
sounded
more than
like
that.
three. Okay, so add Don Marino. That's like four definitive Hall of Famers. And Parkington, Marino. It's basically like two right now off the top of my head. But Cam Newton and then somebody else you said that's like maybe Matt Ryan's a Hall of Famer.
Well, Rich Gannon's on that list.
Oh, he's not a Hall of Famer,
Uh,
but yeah.
Kerry Collins. I actually don't know who that is. I
Oh,
googled
that
it
dude.
now.
That dude had the worst Super Bowl performance in NFL history. As bad as Drake was, that dude
Chris
had like
Chandler,
legitimately.
Neil O'Donnell. Like I don't know these people. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, me neither. I'd say Drake's not in that category. I hope he's not in that category. So that's my like.
And the only four quarterbacks to ever lose one and go back and win one are Len Dawson, Bob Greasy, I believe I said that right, John Elway, and Jalen Hurts. That's it. That's the list.
And he seems more in that
Oh,
category.
Purdy would also technically be in that other one.
And Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
So
So
there's like two active players in that boat now.
I
And a
do
lot of
think
those guys
Cam
you
is the
named went
only one
against.
that really hurts. Not
Yeah.
until he said that stuff about Jalen Hurts. No, I don't care.
Well, ultimately, that's also a poverty franchise. They just not a poverty franchise. I'm getting disrespectful. I understand, but like, we're not the Bengals, we're not the Panthers, we're the Patriots. But it seems like more in that second category,
Well,
They've been
definitely,
coping too much.
we'll have to see,
Yeah.
right? But it concluded a very weird year of football, and I think I think it was honestly, I think the Super Bowl was a big like confirmation of this year made no sense. Not to disrespect either of the participants, they both deserved it. They both deserved to be there. It's just a team that had the what was it, the easiest schedule, third all time, whatever, and Sam Darnold. It was just
Uh,
it's interesting. That's all I'm saying.
hold up. Maybe it's too much cope, but I feel like the Seahawks. I feel like the Seahawks had a really good chance to win either way. Like the Patriots, I think got kind of a break with the Denver game.
I will always get I always give you your flowers when you get something right, and you were definitely early on them. You like their coaching hire. I don't think you were always sold on Sam Darnold, but you also are higher on Sam Darnold than I was. So
When we talked about it before the season started,
you had him in the
I haven't
playoffs.
gone back and listened to it yet. But I'm saying, I kind of bought into Sam Darnold, not to this level, but I was saying before the season started when we were talking about the playoffs, and this was one of the reasons I was like, Sam Darnold wasn't just sitting back there and making the first read of his progressions. Like he was actually doing a lot of elite level quarterback traits. Like he was extending plays. It wasn't just screen passes, line of scrimmage. He was hitting deep balls, extending plays. Like I was like, as great as KOC is, it wasn't just him calling plays and it just being automatic. It was a lot of Sam Darnold just was playing elite, and that was my idea of why I think the Seahawks were going to be good, right? I didn't think they were going to be a Super Bowl champion. That hurts really bad to say, but I thought he was going to be a good quarter. I thought they got a good quarterback. I thought he was the 14th to 12th best quarterback at the time of the recording that we made, and
You jumped my
probably better than that now.
question, man.
He's probably better than that now.
My
My bad.
my concluding question was, where do you think he is? Obviously, not asking you to give me a top 10 list right now if he's in it, but
He
I was
cracked
gonna
it.
try to give you. I was gonna try to have you give narrow down where you'd have him, like in that 5 to 10
I want
range,
to say
10 to 12
top 7,
range. Oh, holy, okay,
probably
okay.
7th. He
I
might
mean,
be
I
low as
can't
ninth.
see
I'll
the
say,
thing is, is that I've kind of backed myself into a corner with how I feel about Jalen Hurts. I can't
quarterback wise.
discredit Sam Darnold. I can't discredit him. He has a ring now. He doesn't have a Super Bowl MVP like my dog does, but no, but for real, I act like you're crazy, but immediately that's where I want Jalen Hurts' name after a Super Bowl victory. So I think it's reasonable, and we're gonna have to do a lot of gap filling for this off season. So that'll probably you'll get a top 10 list for sure.
Get a lot of top 10s.
You're gonna get one today.
Yep. You are gonna go into that. True.
You ready for that? You
Segue.
got a
And
little.
I'm good.
All right, let's
I,
do it.
yeah, I'm good.
Little preemptiveness. This is going to be the absolutely way too early, shouldn't have done it. Top 10 for this 2026 NFL season. Obviously, 10
Start
to,
at
10
10.
to
I gotta
1,
start at
right?
1.
Yeah, 10 to 1 for sure. For sure. All right, number 10. Give me your 10.
The Bears.
Woo.
I might be a little disrespectful to some people. Caleb Williams is that guy for sure. He's a franchise quarterback. Their defense is just so poverty, and the NFC is very top heavy. I don't see them make. I don't know if they'll make a huge jump to be in the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship or NFC Championship next year. But I do think they're going to be a really good team, really great regular season team that just has an Achilles heel of like there's just too much on defense for one off season. It's just too much to fix. I mean, they're going to let Tremaine Edmonds walk, and I feel like that was one of the few good spots on their team. I know he's injured,
I feel like he was a
this
good
year,
spot
but
at one point, but
I give you okay. So you're saying like a little over the hill, even though he's relatively young because he entered the NFL young. It doesn't matter, but he their defense is just too bad for me to like put them higher. If they have an uptick, all of a sudden they take a go from bottom 3 to top 10,
so they're higher on my
a lot
list.
higher.
And I will elaborate now why they're higher because it kind of counters what you're saying and it'll explain why, obviously. But I heard all season long that they told it's Dennis Allen, right? That's their defensive coordinator.
Yes.
Am I correct? I believe so. I heard all year long that they told him like essentially come in here and do everything you can with what you have because we're not investing in it this year, but next year we're gonna give you like we're gonna come and talk to you and you're gonna be able to put your word in on like some players you want. Maybe draft picks, free agency. I don't really know what it's looking like money wise, but I'm telling you I heard that all year long, not just on like shows, but on the broadcast they would talk about it. So that's why I kept them higher because I do agree with you. I think offensively they're going to get better. I think a second year Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams marriage is going to, the offense is going to be flowing. Hopefully completion percentage goes up, and that just means the efficiency, the movement of your, getting the ball down the field, scoring at a more regular basis. I would assume all those go up when the completion percentage does. To be honest, so that's why they're higher on my list. But I do think that I think it's a valid place to have them. They're high. They're a lot higher on mine. I'll be honest, but
It's having an Achilles heel for me. Yeah.
it's very arguable and it's very reasonable to have them. But I am projecting. This is my way too
Mm,
early. Shouldn't have done it. So,
gotcha.
all right, my 10 is the Texans.
Mm,
Not super big on their offense, but their defense impressed me. It's the most impressive defense in the league. I'm very careful with how I word this one for a reason. I think
huh.
I think the talent on their side of it and the way that they just line it up and play defense like that is so it's incredible. And then their edge duo, like you've been saying, is the best currently in the league. Maybe it's one of the top duos of all time. I can't overlook that defense. Hopefully they can improve on offense. I think CJ Stroud's been hard to watch since his
Yeah.
rookie year. I don't know if that's just who he is at this point or what. That's why I can't have him any higher on my list. They honestly almost missed it, but they're my 10.
Mm. I like the Houston one. On some Colin Coward stuff, they're my 11. But I just year to year defense doesn't translate as well as offense does. So that's why I decided to go with an offensive team because the regular season matters. It just does. I there's a lot of postseason I'm putting into this as well. Obviously, like on the higher end, because if it was just regular season, the Bears would be a lot higher. I think they're going to be an elite team. I just think in the playoffs they're going to struggle a bit. I don't know if the Texans are going to be an elite team during the regular season, just because I don't know. Like defense is it fluctuates so much year to year, whereas offense is relatively consistent.
It's very
That's
fair.
why
They're
I
also
decided to go
gonna
with
have
the
a
Bears.
first
That was the
place.
hair I split.
They're also gonna have a first place schedule. So
Are
whatever
they?
that means for them. Well,
I
no,
thought
the
the Jags won the
Jags. The
division.
Jags. You're correct. The Jags,
The
which by
Bears
the
didn't win their
way,
division either, though.
Jags were my 11. Just to throw mine in there.
That's
All
a
right,
really good team.
number
That's a
9.
really good. The Green Bay Packers for me.
Hmm,
I think their offense is going to be Tucker Kraft when he was playing
they were
elite
fire.
offense. It was elite offense. I think me and you both are Matthew Golden like believers. He's gonna get a lot of focal point,
I feel like
especially
he
at that year
finally
ender for
broke
him.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna be great for them. I actually really like a lot of the receivers too. I think they're not all ones, but they're great twos and
Well, I
threes.
actually think that Golden could be the one which could make them
Oh,
all
for sure.
finally slot into their rightful
Slot
place.
into place. I think that's what we're both kind of projecting a little bit. I'm a Jordan Love stan for like 3, 4 years at this point. I love
Indeed,
Love,
you are.
and I think their defense is just significantly better than the Packers or the Bears, and they'll just have a better. They might have a better regular season, but they'll be more geared for the playoffs. I mean,
And it's not a bad one. They actually didn't make my list. They didn't make my top 10. Number 9 is the Detroit Lions.
they didn't make my list.
Yeah, that's very fair. But I think that this rough year is going to help them a lot in this upcoming season. I believe in that offense. I believe in the changes they've made. I'm hoping that the offensive coordinator position that do you have them? Do you have who they hired? Because I know that
Not
I
top of
know
my head.
they heavily looked into McDaniels and felt as if that he did not click with their system. So they went a different direction, and I kind of like that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's super easy to go hire this dude who's got
The young offensive mind, the
yeah, and
innovator.
just people. It's almost like if you hire this dude, even if he's a bad hire and he were to be awful next year, everyone right now would be talking about how you did it right. Right now, that would be the topic of conversation. Would be that you made the right choice, right? It's Mike Kafka. Is it Mike Kafka?
Yeah, it sounds right. It sounds right to be honest. What's up, man?
No, I don't remember.
Is he the
Either way,
Dolphin? Is Mike Kafka the Dolphin?
no, it's Drew
No.
Petzing. That's who. That's who
There
it
you
is. Kafka was the Giants interim coach. I don't know where he went. I don't know why, but it was Drew Petzing. Point being, I thought that it was actually because they're a culture team. Dan Campbell's a culture guy. I think it's really cool that they went against it, and I hope it works out for them. Maybe I feel this way because the Eagles kind of did something similar, hired a young guy, kind of not as proven. So
I get what you're saying.
Detroit,
Gotta like the
Detroit in my
process.
9. I hope there's some health on defensive side, and they invest a little bit more into that side of the ball.
Interior
And
offensive line.
Yeah,
That's what
that
needs to
as
come up
well.
quick.
That as well. For sure. I heard that they're gonna use Gibbs a lot in the slot again. So let's see how this goes. I think they just have a lot of talent. I like them offensively. They're always a fun offense to watch between Amon Ra, Jameson, Goff, and the two running backs that they have, Sonic and Knuckles.
Percent.
So
Although Jameson
they're
might
not
be
a free
gone.
agent.
No, he's not a free agent, but he's been like in that like will they won't they keep him for like 2 years now at this point, and maybe it'll eventually break to a certain way, you know.
All right. Well, yeah, but they're my nine. Can't put them too much higher than that for me. Like it was.
Yeah.
It's kind of honestly, I could even flip them with the Texans and like it, or drop them to 11. Move the Jags in.
Gotcha. Well,
Either way you do it. I
who's your
split
eight?
hairs.
Out of curiosity. Yeah.
My eight is the San
If this
Francisco
blows,
49ers.
see, I kind of forgot. Kind of forgot a team a little bit, but that's on me. That's a great pick. That's a great pick.
Hey, it's the way too early one, man. We'll get it really down to a
Yeah.
science, and when we get some, because it's projecting. We haven't been through free agency. We haven't been through the draft. We haven't been through there's a lot. We'll get a real
Yeah.
top 10
100%.
projection going into it, probably around August, I'd say. Preseason time, because that's when really things are gonna start kicking off for us. So
Yeah.
right now, I'm not gonna hold you to it. I would expect you to not do the same for me because these are just straight projections. It's just for fun.
Yeah,
So
for
who's
sure.
your eight?
My eight's the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, and maybe the reason why I kind of crossed off the Niners from my mind, like automatically without really thinking, is because, and again, this could be recency bias, but I feel like defense played a major factor in these playoffs and just overall this regular season. And I think their defense, just like the Bears, too much to overcome in one regular season, just too much. But offensively, I think the Bears are going to be better. So I think that's why in my mind, I kind of was just like, oh yeah, the Bears. The Ravens got the best head coach in this cycle, in my opinion, in Jesse Minter. They have so much talent on defense. Me and you both love Kyle Williams. Me and you both love Malachi Starks. I think it's going to be an amazing defense.
Kyle
Like, to be
Hamilton.
honest, Kyle Hamilton, who did I say?
Williams.
Williams.
Have
Kyle
me a
Williams.
little
I'm just
confused
so
for a minute.
Patriot brains. I'm just so Patriot brains. That's on me. But I love their defense. If Madubuike comes back, because there is like a lot of rumors that he like had like a career-ending injury and he's not coming back. He hasn't commented on that for like 4 months. Apparently, he's retired in Texas. Like that's what people are saying. I don't know if that's corroborated by any reputable source, but it seems to be floating around there, and that'll be huge if he doesn't come back. That'll change
I
a lot for me.
haven't heard anything about that. That's pretty crazy. The
But
Ravens actually didn't make my list.
yeah,
It's way too
okay.
early.
Well,
It's way too early.
yeah, way too early, way too early. But Lamar, elite regular season. That's what he's gonna give you. That's what he's always giving you. I think
Really
Minter is
this
gonna
year.
give them the best defense. Yeah, he was injured a lot this year, though, and that could come with age, and it's all projection, I guess. But
I
elite
also
regular
think the
season from
O-line needs
Lamar,
some help. Sorry,
definitely. But they'll
cut
get
you
some help.
off.
They need to actually re-sign Linderbaum. We're getting a little too in the weeds here, but I think Minter is going to return them back to when, because he was there previously, right? He was there previously as the defensive
I
coordinator,
believe so. Yeah.
and they had the number one defense that year. I think they're just going to get back to that, if close at least, top five, and give Lamar a top five defense. Give him a little bit more help, maybe offensive line wise, receiver wise, who knows? But he's going to give you an elite regular season, and they're going to have an elite defense. That to me is a recipe to get to the AFC Championship. I know they're 8. It's because I don't know about Lamar's health. That's really what it comes down to. That's the biggest question mark for me. Yeah.
Skip to it, huh?
No.
I think when I told you to give me your team, I think I said 7. Either way, it's a good choice. Way too early. Obviously way too early list, but I'd rather be on the side of quarterback greatness. I chose Brock Purdy, but for my 8th slot,
I think
more
we're
belief
both
in the
higher on
coaching
him, though.
system. I like Kyle. I am definitely higher on him than I was last year, for sure.
Yeah.
I think Kyle Shanahan's, he's a proven commodity, and I think they'll be in the run. They'll be in the dance. They'll be in the tournament. All the analogies, and
Just age and health.
yeah, defensive health is the factor for me. And Saleh being gone and replacing Saleh with Raheem Morris, interested to see how that goes. So we'll elaborate more on that in a coaching carousel update episode, probably a couple weeks here. But onwards, my number 7, the Buffalo Bills.
We got one in common. Okay, number 7.
Josh Allen. That's
I
it.
like that.
End of story.
JA 17.
I got a really interesting thing to throw out there, and it's not original. It actually just kind of to me was like, oh, that's really interesting. So you know how their head coach is a promoted OC, so he's already been in the building, and I feel like
Yeah.
they were getting the fire back that they wanted to have essentially a new identity, and then bringing someone in from the same regime or however you want to put it is like not going to give them a new identity essentially. And then someone was made a really good point, and it might have been wild. So it's probably a first things first take, but they were saying how much different can you get from going from a defensive head coach to an offensive minded head coach who has openly said they would have handled things differently multiple times. So maybe I am being a little bit too closed off on the idea that an in-house promotion was a bad idea, because that was going to be my take. I'll be honest.
I
It's just going to be that
I
I
feel
wasn't a
like it
super
is my
big.
take.
So, and
Sorry.
we can elaborate on that more eventually here, but I just wanted to throw out there that maybe it is a good hire, and it's good to keep Josh with his offensive coordinator. Essentially, I always say to hire that type of player, or that type of coach to be your head coach. It's what I've been harping on all season at this point. So I liked it, or I think I
Yeah.
like it now. I don't know. Either way, the real reason they're number 7 is Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen. The reason they're not higher is just their defense isn't good again. Gotta keep harping back on defense. Very important. I will say though, the reason I don't like the Joe Brady promotion is because I got scarred by Mayo. I don't know how often promoting someone within actually works out. I would like to see the statistics on that, but it just feels based on recency. Again, recency bias is very strong. It could be color in my image here. It's not. It's not great. It's not great. If you're gonna go for a regime change, especially one that's it's been there for um, almost a decade at this point, it's really tough to just think that, oh yeah, we just promote the next guy. It's gonna be night and day difference. It's not gonna be. He's an offensive mind. Defense is the reason I think they struggled. I also think, look, Josh Allen gives you an elite floor as an offense by himself. He's an engine in and of himself. And I don't know how much impact Joe Brady actually had in this offense being that great, because when you have a Josh Allen, I'm gonna give him the bulk of the credit. I just am. Like, don't get me wrong, Cooks came a long way. I didn't think he was that good out of college. All of a sudden, he's one of the best three backs in the NFL. That could be the Joe Brady effect. It really could be. But now he's going to be splitting his attention across the whole team and not just offense. I could see them taking a step back offensively as a result, or just in general, maybe he wasn't that big of a factor. So it could be a bonus there with the new guy coming in and just implementing new stuff. Could be. This defense is the problem for me, and they promoted somebody who's not on that side of the ball within that organization, and that's their biggest weakness. That's their Achilles heel for me. If they're going to go far, they need a defense that isn't going to let up 34 points. I think on average, like Josh Allen's playoff losses have been 33.4 points per game that's been scored. Like
Jeez.
that's not okay. That's not okay. Like you need somebody to address that problem. And I don't think Joe Brady is the solution. That's where I fall on it, at least.
And I mean, I guess we might not have to elaborate too much now, but we'll
Yeah.
get
Well, that's
more
my only.
into our reasoning on how we end up feeling, as we go on through this off season.
Yeah.
But for right now, we
That's the
both
reason bills
got
are
them at
lower.
number 7.
Just their head coach. I don't believe in their head coach or defense. That's why they're low. If
For
that if
me,
that turns out to be true, top three
for
team.
me, it's the unknown. I'm not gonna say that I don't believe, but I will definitely admit to it being an unknown. And then
Yeah.
I would also add on there that part of what scares me about them is the fact that somehow being in second place, they might have the more tough schedule compared to you guys. Just
Think
based on
so?
the divisions you played, and
Based
well,
on
I would.
divisions. Yeah.
Would you rather? We'll get into that when we get
Yeah.
into that.
A later day. Yeah. Later day. Yeah.
Number 6, I got. Now you go. Let's hear it.
I got the Denver
Oh,
Broncos.
we're 2 in a row
Yeah.
for real.
Well, because they beat the Bills. That was like a big thing for me. Good defense. Another big thing for me. I think Bo Nix, just kind of like how we just take Drake May's bad playoff performance. We just go, he might be a bad playoff performer for some people, or like he doesn't got it. We take Justin Herbert's. Like these are bigger sample sizes. I feel like Bo Nix had a great playoff game, and now it's just he's cemented for a lot of people. Like he's just that guy. But we just saw with Sam Darnold, amazing playoff game against the Rams, below average against the Patriots, right? It's like, okay, um, there's some context there. They both played really bad defenses, and then they both played really great defenses. Well, Bo Nix didn't play. Sorry, getting off topics here. Getting off topic here. But I think they're going to be a great team, honestly, and they could be better than the Patriots, and they probably would have won this year had Bo Nix played. I will concede that. I'm not just going to say Bo Nix is an elite level playoff
Oh, me
performer
neither.
just because of 1 gram. So that's why he's 6 for me.
I
Just
think
because
that
he's got to prove stuff to me. So
yeah, sorry. I think that he just falls similarly with Purdy in that
yes,
you have to be willing to admit that you were wrong, or at least willing to admit that you weren't quite right. And that's kind of how I feel about both of them right now. We're not saying they're top 5, but they're not.
close though.
They're.
Close you can get.
I'm just saying they're also not as bad as I kind of thought they were. Both of them.
Yeah. I will
Or
say this
better
though, it's
than
kind of interesting.
I thought. There's probably a better way to put that.
Yeah, they were significantly better than I thought they were going to be. But
Oh, I doubted them all
I
year, so yeah, I owe them
this
an
is kind of a
apology.
point to you though. This is kind of a point to you. This year, it's a point to me in terms of like I guess where I thought they'd be. I thought they'd be a better team than the Chiefs. Whatever. I think you're right on your Sean Payton take. Like it feels like he's going scorched earth right now for some reason. Like they lost the playoff game because of a backup. Fires most of the coaching staff. Is airing out his quarterback's dirty laundry. And Bo
Yeah,
Nix is, then calls his own media session being like he has no idea what he's talking about. It's like, ooh, this could for real be like an issue. If it's not already a major issue, but
I've
this
never
makes the
been a
AFC
fan.
Championship
So.
game. He went scorched earth. He fired the offensive coordinator. Like, it wasn't his fault. Sean Payton called that play.
And on top of that, you
Like,
had a backup quarterback, so why even? Like, it
yeah,
feels like you had a get out of jail free card in a sense. Run it back.
yeah. Well, overall, I think we were both kind of off on the Broncos.
Yeah,
There's how far they went. I think you're dead set. I think you're dead right on the Sean Payton stuff.
I appreciate that, and I'm always gonna stand on. I just think he handles media things awfully, and
Just everything. He's so childish.
he just and I think I've said it before, and I'll say it again. He's always just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, even when he was the Saints head coach. Like I don't know. It's something about the way he
Definitely
presents himself. Just not a big fan of it, and feels good to be right about something because I doubted them all year long. All year long, I definitely was wrong in that regard. So, all right,
The Broncos, you're sixth.
yes, sir. Number 5. This is where the way too high team is. Chicago Bears.
Dang. Okay, so
I'm
real
projecting.
quick.
Go ahead.
No, I like this. I do like this a lot. That means the Patriots have to be higher for you. Just out of curiosity, I just want to clarify that for myself right now.
Yeah, they're
That's
in the list.
yeah. All right, good. Just had to. Okay, all right.
They
Go
made the
off. I know
list.
you're.
All right.
Go off on your Bears.
We already kind of talked about it. I am projecting because of what I've heard that they're going to give Dennis Allen kind of the keys to the car for defense and kind of allow himself to build that car, get all the pieces he wants. So, interesting analogy here, but I honestly I'm kind of interested to see how that goes. And then on the offensive side of things, it is just pure belief. I'm a big fan of getting that OC at head coach. They got that. I think Ben Johnson might be the best, one of the best in that category for sure. And another year with those two together, Caleb really impressed me with his heroics. I wasn't impressed with him from a start to finish, in a start to finish sense, and I'm kind of hoping that I get that this upcoming year, at least until they meet us in a playoff game. So yeah, it's pure projection, and you gotta take some shots. And I'm looking at this list, and I'm like, I have one team on it that wasn't in the playoffs this season, and I kind of want that to change by the time we do a real top 10, because it's just kind of not how it goes. Some things stay the same. That is true. I don't know if this many teams will stay the same.
Yeah.
But again, it
Isn't it
is.
like
But if
60
it's
or
top,
70%?
yeah. But I was
Make
also
the
gonna
playoffs next
say,
year.
we do a top 10 and you break it up. It's like 5 and it's the top 4 seeds, top 5 seeds each division or so. So it's like
Yeah.
so either way. But yeah, Bears at my 5. Kind of talked about it when you gave them 10. Was it?
Yeah, so it just seems like a perspective thing then, right? Because you think that him having the, being able to make the dish as the chef with the, whatever, get whatever groceries he needs. We're going analogy heavy this episode. You think he'll create something great, which I'm not discounting. That is very much on the board. I'm
Not
50-50
necessarily
myself,
saying that.
55-45.
I'm just saying that I thought that I would say more so that I wasn't. How do I put that? I can't say that I was impressed with their defense this year because that would almost be an insane thing to say.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd
But
agree with
I
that second.
didn't like what he had, what he was cooking with. I ain't like none of the ingredients, and he
Yeah.
made an edible dish at times.
I like their secondary. I like their secondary a lot. A lot of
So
injuries
I'm
though.
I'm I'm interested to see what he could do with, with some say in who he gets, and I think that privilege comes from him being a previous head coach. Kind of. I think that's part of why he was on the staff. Been, yeah, smartly hiring an ex head coach, get a little extra perspective, maybe a little extra experience. So I think part of that. So yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. But I'll have a real top 10 for you in August.
I mean, I like it. I like it. It's a good projection. I actually like you getting on the ledge here because you'll notice in my top or whatever, not a lot of ledge right here for me. A lot of just safe picks. Um, I just think to continue this analogy, there's not a lot of good groceries available for me.
It could
Ultimately,
be
that's just how I feel.
could be fair.
I think a lot of the best free agents, to be honest, are coming from the Bears. Like Brisker, I'm not so out on Edmonds, but there's a lot that's going to go out the door that I think's good. And Jalen Johnson's got to get healthy. Kyler Gordon, he's cool. Is it Stevenson, the 29 in the Bears?
Yeah, Tyreek. Well, he's one now. I
Like,
thought no, that's Jalen Johnson.
I
He's
thought they
six.
actually had some decent pieces, like overall. And Montez Sweat, I think we both think is good. Dexter Gervin, these are good players.
I think they
Wasn't
struggle
it good
with health as
results?
well, though. Like,
They did struggle with healthy,
and I do
100%.
want to clarify that I'm not necessarily out on Edmonds as a player. I just it's health. It's kind of like we
Yeah,
talked off camera or off recording about Njoku the other day, and it's like I'm not. It's not to disrespect the player he is when he's healthy, but how often is he healthy? That's more
you're
so what
right.
I'm trying to say. All right, let's not get too deep
Something
into
there's a
the
lot of
weeds of
good.
it.
Yeah,
Let's
something
go.
there's a lot of good groceries for.
That could be a fair point. We shall see. Maybe they draft and hit on draft picks. We've seen teams do it
Oh
before.
yeah, of
We've seen the
course.
Eagles do it with the first
I
and
don't think it's a
second
good
round pick.
draft either.
So we shall see. All right, number 4. Who you got?
Your Philadelphia Eagles.
I got
Or no, we're
your.
on five. We're on five.
I
Sorry,
just
I
did
didn't
my
say my
5.
five.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. My five's New England Patriots. We beat them with dead horse. Here, that's my five.
My 4 is the
Great young
Pats.
quarterback. Good Forrest Pats. I like that. I like that idea. Five. I just like to say top five for the Patriots. A little bit of bias, sure. Drake May elite. Mike Vrabel elite. Josh McDaniels great. Another year to build. That we talked about them so much already. We could. I'm glad we're just blown by them. They're five for me though. Okay, your four is the Patriots.
Yeah,
Do you have anything to say? Are you good on them? Uh,
I just think you got a lot of money to spend.
mm,
Not obviously pick 31 isn't going to be the highest of draft picks, but kind of to what you're saying, it's not a really top heavy draft, so all those picks are still going to be uh, super valuable. So
valuable. Yeah,
excited
it's
for
true.
that. A lot
It's
of money
true.
in free agency. You just said there's not a lot of great ingredients, i.e. players, out there. So
For the Bears, for like all the Bears need.
no,
I
I
think there's
I
some
more so
good.
just mean like there's not you're not going to solve all your issues in one free agency, but I think that you could solve at least some of them, and you get people similar
True.
to Ben with Caleb longer. You give Vrabel in his culture longer, and I'm definitely going to give some credit to that for sure. So some projection for them next year. I'm going to go 4. I think having the Dolphins and the Jets in your division will help you guys stack a couple wins extra, and you,
Yeah.
you were able to split with Josh Allen this season and almost go 2-0. So
Should have gone to it.
who's to say you couldn't do that again? So
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
will
go
say
New
on
England at
a.
4.
I like that. I'm gonna say just a quick little anecdote because this is running a little long, but I just saw a thing. I saw a stat today. Because we obviously we're gonna give Christian Gonzalez whatever he wants, right? Contractually, this will be the first time the Patriots have signed our first round pick and our last 10 first round picks to an extension. And keep in mind, there's 4 years in there where we didn't draft somebody in the first round. So this will be the first time in like 14 years that we gave our first round pick a contract extension. That blows my mind. I knew for a long time I'd be like, Bill's just getting them in and out, cheap talent, this, that, the third. It's crazy. It's to me when I saw that I was like, wow, this is the first time in 14 years. Like I wasn't even cognitive when the last time we gave a first round pick an extension.
It's
I just wanted to say that.
insane. That is an insane stat. But I want to hear your Eagles take because that's who's 4.
Yeah. So honestly, the Eagles. I'll say this now. Preface this now. I have a team hire in the Chiefs. That's strictly on just Patrick Mahomes' legacy, greatness. If he's not healthy, he's 50, 60, 70% of what he is. He's dropping that list. The Eagles will be top 3 for me. I just want to preface that now. but it's because they have too much talent. They're too great, too young,
Said that all last
too
year too.
experienced. Like a combination of youth and experience is a crazy. I think they're an elite team that just made a bad decision at offensive coordinator. Hopefully that is what it was.
It's not
That's the
all of
projection
it,
for
right?
me.
But
It's not all of it. It's not, all of it, but that's the projection for me. Is that it's just one bad decision led to a derailment of a year that you still made, the playoffs in,
for
and
sure. And
you
almost
look at
took that
the
game.
history,
Should
and
have
you
won
almost
that
took that
game.
game, and you look at the history. It's like, all right, great year, or great year,
Yeah,
brain drain,
I was
bad
gonna
year.
say this. I was gonna say this
Yeah,
too. 'Cause the
yeah, and
Eagles are
it's
my
good. And
three.
Yeah, you can explore this more too, because like you're a fan, but that just from the outside perspective looking in, I'm not so outside anymore. I'm kind of like in the door frame, 1 foot out, 1 foot in.
I got two ways the season goes for us, and I like
Yeah.
both.
And the reason they're so high for me is just talent, insane. They got the right they got everything right in terms of like the groceries. If we're gonna keep this analogy rolling,
We gotta stop. Just players.
it's just are the chefs right? Are the chefs right?
That's so
That's what it
good.
is for me.
Yeah.
And we're both not the
This
biggest fan
chef
of Sirianni, but he's won a Super Bowl. Just like Sam
named
Darnold
it
won
too.
a Super Bowl. Got to give him the credit. I think it was just a brain drain, and I think hopefully they got something back in the because their
I
defense
got
was elite
more.
either way.
I got more.
But yeah, you go off. You go off time.
So they're my three for all the reasons that you said. But I'm gonna give you the side of it where they're not, and they're bottom of this list. You know.
Yeah.
Yes, I think offensive coordinator was a huge issue. We took a swing on a young guy. We'll elaborate more on that in the coaching episode. It's not all of it. It's not all of it at all. Quarterbacks gotta play better, and I've all year defended him for him to go into the biggest game and to disappoint me. To be honest, I'll be Jalen's biggest supporter, but I'm also not going to just let it go by when he disappoints, and that's what that game was. That game was a disappointment. He had two opportunities, those opportunities being drives to take us down the field to give us a lead, and he didn't do it either time. And we wasted probably the best defense I've ever seen as an Eagles fan. Not saying statistically. I know we've had better statistical defenses, but
Just because
the
they came on during the
schematics
middle of the season,
the
right?
schematics were insane. The offenses that we were limiting was just it was amazing to watch that defense play. We couldn't get as much pressure on the quarterback as I wish we would, but if we had that, that would easily have been the best defense we've ever had.
I think
Now
it
let me
probably would have
just
been the best defense. Sorry,
no, you're
it
fine.
just they came off. They came on in the middle of the year. Like if they were to start this year like this, they would have been. Or middle of the year might be week 5. If they had just came on like this instantly, they probably would have been the best defense you've ever seen, right? Or if they're not already, but it's
I
just
honestly
a little
think
later
that
of a
what
start.
really hurt us was the Makuba injury.
Mm,
That one that one sucked because he was
love
performing
Makuba.
he was performing so well, and he was our only DB with interceptions through like 6 weeks. Like it was pretty crazy. That
So
said, I
good,
do
bro.
want to elaborate on the other stuff. The offensive line is a big worry for me. It really is. I don't like our center. I think Cam Jurgens has been incredibly disappointing, which really sucks considering he was handpicked by Jason Kelsey to be the replacement. I think he was more impressive to me as a guard, which we might need because Tyler Steen was awful for the majority of the season. He just was. Left tackle being my Lotta, he was the only good piece of that offense on a down to down basis, in my opinion. I love Lane. I love Lane. I love Landon. Landon's a warrior. He's always out there, even when he is so beat up. But he's so beat up to the point where I'm seeing reports, kind of like what you were saying about
Yeah,
Matabuike,
he might be
that he might
done.
be done because he's been that beat up and he continues to play, which only makes things worse. Lane's 37 years old now. I think that's right. He might be older, but he's on his way out too. So I'm super concerned about this offensive line. I think we have Mylota,
You lost
and
your
that's about
offensive
it.
line
So
coach. Yeah.
yeah, Stout being gone really hurts my heart. He's been an Eagle coach as long as I can remember. So as long as I've been a fan, I feel like that's probably safe to say. So that one really hurts me. But kind of like you said about the Pats, I don't want to elaborate too much more because we talk about the Eagles and Patriots more than any
Yeah,
other
it's been a
team.
while
So
though. But it's been a little bit because
yeah,
like we've been talking about the Patriots for a week
so I
and a
have
half.
them three because I'm very optimistic and I always will be. But I just
Same.
gave you the recipe of a
Why it
bad
could be a bad
year.
year.
So all right, I'm
Sirianni not
moving.
being the guy. It's all a
I
question
can't
marks
move
here.
us on, right? Because your
Yeah,
three
yeah,
is the
I'm good.
Chiefs. You said you wanna.
Yeah, so it's just Mahomes and Andy Reid respect. Just like I feel like Brady and Belichick got for a long time. I was like roster not amazing,
They're not on my list.
but they okay. So you're projecting him not to like
I'm. It's more
be
so just
healthy as of
because I
right
don't
now.
know. Yeah, it's just because I don't know.
Okay.
If
I just want to give him respect.
if I did know he was healthy and was a week one starter, they wouldn't be in the top five.
They wouldn't be in the top because there's just a roster's too poor for you
I just think
situation.
it was that mixed with underperformance. Like you have to be, yes, their accomplishments are great, but that was an underperformance by them
Yeah,
this
last
year.
2 years they have been
He got hurt
declining, huh?
late. Like it wasn't like I was wrong. Going into this year, I thought they'd be the one seed, and he was healthy. I can't blame injuries for that. He was healthy the vast majority of the year, and
Yeah.
they had 6 wins. They were negative the majority of the
This is
time.
good
Like
perspective for me. Yeah, this is good
so,
perspective for me. 'Cause you're talking me down a little bit here, even if they were
I
healthy.
respect them. And they're not on my list right now because of health. But I also just think it's like you can respect the team at the same time as they what have you done for me lately? They lost the Super
Yeah.
Bowl and then had a really bad year. Maybe it was just a hangover. They played more football than any other team in the last 5 years. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So we'll
I
see. But
also,
they didn't make my list for health purposes.
and you know what? I have been beating my drum for like since the start of this dynasty that it's impossible to be great for 10 extended years. Like it's just the NFL's built for parity. Like maybe I should take a step back. This is way too early, right? This is just me giving respect to them because by the time we get to this, these are things I hadn't really fully fleshed out. Just from your perspective, like yeah, no, I was down on the Chiefs all year, and they did not perform, and they were healthy for a lot of it. And it is just me respecting Patrick Mahomes, but he will be coming off an injury, and they're not. There's just
Point
not
being,
enough to fix a team in the same year. Like if like I agree with all that. I'm just gonna go through because it's what my list is right now. But I've definitely talked. Maybe this is the ledge that I said I wasn't taking on any team. Maybe this was the one I was like leaping off of just for sheer respect purposes.
I think we have the
I just
same
think if he's
top
gonna get
two.
to the playoffs, we
Sorry,
probably do. No, we
I
don't.
just
We don't
looked
have the same
ahead.
top two.
No,
We
we
don't have the
do
same top two.
because
I don't think.
Seahawks are in
Okay.
mine.
Okay.
I was trolling.
Okay. You're chilling. Okay. I think the Chiefs are gonna make the playoffs. I think Mahomes could beat anybody any given Sunday. That's why they're this high for me. But you're right. This is a piss poor roster. They just have an elite coach and an elite quarterback. And when I say
They're gonna
elite, I
like
don't mean just
run
like a
Travis
Josh
back,
Allen.
and I don't think
I
that's a
mean
good
like
idea.
yeah,
And like they're recruiting Tyreek Hill back.
likely,
Oh well,
likely as
yeah.
well.
So I don't
And
know. They
Kyler
could add
Pitts.
to it. They could add to their roster. They could be great. I'm not gonna diminish what Mahomes has accomplished. I don't even. I want to believe he's gonna come back and be great because again I've told you this and I'll reiterate. I don't want them to win when it's against my team. So it sucks that part of his legacy will be an Eagles, a Super Bowl ring against us. He's also got to live with the loss too, right? But point being, I also don't want to hate on greatness and not be able to appreciate it while it's here. So I don't want him to not be good next year. They just simply they need to make some moves in order to be in my list. They need to make some moves, especially on offense, and
Well,
they need to tell me if Mahomes can be healthy for week one.
yeah, I don't want to get too deep into my draft analysis yet, but I think there's two really good tackles in this draft, and they're going to be in the range to take one of them. That's like a right tackle, huge fill for me. Let's say they got the left tackle figured out. Okay, interior of their offensive line, it's been good. They need to get a running back. They could take Jeremiah Love in the range they're in instead of the tackle. That would be an elite upgrade. I think Jeremiah Love is a top 3 player in this draft. Okay, I see all that. They could fix their problems. Tyreek Hill comes back, get Kylie Pitts, problems fixed. In that regard, offensively,
I
Bieniemy's
don't know
back.
about Tyreek. That I was kind of bringing that up as a bad thing, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
it could be
Sorry.
a bad thing. Sorry, yeah, but they just got chemistry and all that. Whatever. Like they could fix that with 2 moves, in my opinion. Like relatively, like just get strip the offensive line at right tackle, get an elite playmaker in some facet, either Jeremiah Love or Kylie Pitts or however that is, or multiple. Their defense, middle of the pack, but they've been good year to year. I think they'll kind of get back to where they were. Yeah, Andy Reid, like there's a lot of reasons to believe in this team. It's just that Mahomes can be healthy. I'm gonna give them respect. That's all it is. I think they're gonna be a good team next year. And if they make the playoffs, I'm not taking anybody against Mahomes in a single elimination game. Probably for the rest of his career.
All right, I have a confession.
Fail me here.
My real list has the
Priest.
Seahawks at number one. I'm sure they're one for you too, right? Out of respect for a
No,
champion.
they're not.
Other
They're not
two.
one for me.
Either way, my real list is drop them and move everybody up a slot, and the Jags are my 10. That's my real list. I'll be honest. That was the real list. I'm respecting them because they won, but I got a crazy take that I'm gonna debut right now. but we'll elaborate more on that again too in the future. I don't know if they win more than 10 games next season. Just gonna throw that out there right now. All right. I'm just putting a take chip, one chip on the take board. I'm not saying it's 100% gonna happen. I'm just saying I'm
100 to
planting the
1
flag
odds.
quickly. You know what I'm saying? I want to buy it while it's either way. All right, number two. You have Seattle. I don't. I have the Rams at two. So they're
Talk
your
about
one.
both these teams a lot too. Yeah, the Rams are my one. We talk about both these teams a lot, and I feel like they're intertwined. I feel like you can't almost talk about one without the other. I just think defense doesn't translate year to year like offense does. I don't think Sam Darnold is gonna be. I'm not gonna give him the moniker of being elite. I'm just not gonna.
Can we dumb it
Sam
down?
Darnold or let's dumb it down to what? Let me hear.
They have the best coaching quarterback duo in the NFC. The
That is
Rams.
true. But they have a problem on defense, whereas the Seahawks don't. I just don't know if they'll be the best defense or second best defense in the league. And I think there's a lot of corners and a lot of secondary help coming in this free agency. It's not a lot of front seven, but a lot of back. I think that's where they need the help at. Is the back end, and I think there's going to be a lot of options there. I think and it really is. Let's dumb it down, like you said. Best coach, best quarterback combo in the NFC.
Who knows how high it is in the
Great
NFL right now?
weapons.
You know what I mean?
Great
So
weapons.
yeah, they're my
All
one.
time weapons.
They're my one realistically. Like I said, I would drop the champs and I would move them down. I don't want to be disrespectful. They deserve every bit of respect this offseason. So I know how
Yeah.
this is coming off, but
I'm gonna get it.
in all reality, in my way too early list, I didn't want them on it. I didn't.
I like
I
that.
I'm glad they got their ring. I don't think that they're going to be a perennial like contender. I don't.
Yeah, it's like trying to think of like a team that's comparable that like won. I
But
don't want to say
even
I don't want to say 2000 Ravens, but the defense isn't that elite, but it's kind of in that park, right? Or like the '03 Bucks, kind of like in that realm, right?
yeah, I just don't. I think it was an interesting year of football, and it doesn't feel like the champion is a team that's gonna be in the
Consistently in
championship.
it,
Yeah, and I could be wrong.
but
I could definitely be wrong because I believe in their coach now. That's for sure. Their quarterback has 2 straight years of impressive football with
plus
over
wins.
14 wins and now some postseason wins and a Super Bowl ring. So there's a lot
Yeah,
there. There's a lot there that I am disrespecting currently, and maybe I'll be wrong, and I'll eat my words when I am. But if I am, I don't think
honestly,
I will be though.
for me, the reason why, and this can be complete bias, this can be complete whatever people want to say. I think if the Rams play the Seahawks, even though they lost the last two times, I feel like if they had played that NFC Championship game 10 times, I feel like the Rams would have won it 7 out of 10 times. I think Sam Darnold played the greatest game of his career. Not even close. I think the only turnover was a special teams turnover that isn't just that's not going to be consistent. You know what I mean? Like that's they played the margins, they played well, they did all that. Don't want to discredit them. They're Super Bowl champions. It's just I don't think the Rams did anything to like lose that game for themselves outside of what a fifth or sixth round pick just botching a punt. And it's like wow, that's why we lost. Like the Seahawks deserve credits for being like great in the margins, but like that's not duplicable. It's just not. Whereas the Rams being great offensively is.
All
That's why I
right.
think they're the better team.
So I got Texans at 10, Lions at 9, Niners at 8, Bills 7, Broncos 6, Bears 5, Pats 4. My top three are Eagles, Rams, Seahawks. I mean, realistically, it's not Seattle, like I said, but I will have an actual top 10 when we get to it later. Right now, they are the
Much later than that, I'll
champions.
say.
Right now, they are the champions, and they will be treated as such. So, congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. I'm sorry that you had to live through that, brother. I'm still not over Super Bowl 57, so I'm with you. When I when
It
I
doesn't.
when I feel better, I'll let you know, and maybe that's when you can expect to feel better. But like I said, it's been it's been a few years at this point. So
I just feel grateful to be in the situation I am now because I didn't think I'd ever like post Bill and Belichick. I didn't know if I'd ever get to even be in this situation again and watch a Super Bowl with my friends and family. Like I didn't like. So I'm right now. I'm just looking at the glass half full. That's really how I'm taking this approach. It hurts, but it doesn't hurt as much as like. And that's gonna sound crazy, but like when the Celtics lost to the Warriors, like that destroyed me. Because I had never seen us win. We had been on the doorstep for half a decade. That hurt way more. This is like, I can't believe we're here. We could have stole it. I've seen 6 championships in my lifetime. It hurts really bad. It's just not like soul crushing like some of the other sports losses in my life have been. And I'll just read it. I just had to say that real quick, but I'll read it my top 10. 10 Bears, 9 Packers, 8 Ravens, 7 Bills, 6 Broncos, 5 Patriots, 4 Eagles, 3 Chiefs, 2 Seahawks. Number 1 is the Rams for me.
All right. Way too early. Don't hold us to
Way
it.
too early.
We'll have some better top tens going forward.
Yeah.
Coaching
100%.
carousel episode 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks. We'll probably
Yeah.
switch formats, go every other week with the off season. Basketball talk is definitely going to come to fruition here pretty soon. We're
And where
post
we're
All
right and
Star
where
break
we're
on
wrong.
Thursday, so
Yeah. Where we're right and where
absolutely,
we're wrong should be coming up pretty
yeah,
soon. And
there's
I'll say
some
this real
really
quick.
fun things to talk about.
We were right on the Rams. We were right on the Rams for sure. I'll say that.
I don't feel like I
That
was.
gives us some preview.
I feel like I was also relatively correct on the Niners. I wasn't fully
Yeah.
right because I think I had them winning the division because of how easy it was. But I mean,
I
they
think
made it to the
13
playoffs and
and
they
4.
unfortunately beat my team. So,
It
all
hurts.
right. That said, wings versus rings on everything. We out.